Right, we've had a few requests coming through Facebook and on the website asking for a quick tutorial on how to tie up the clone rig. The old boys out there, like me unfortunately, would think of this just as the D rig. We called it the clone rig because of a local club walk where lots of people got on the same rig as soon as it started catching, but the more astute amongst you would have recognised the end section as being very similar to a chod rig. It is very similar. They all work on the D rig principle. It's ever such a nice position to mount a balanced hook bait in because it sucks in the right direction, and then when it blows out the hook point's going in the direction it needs to grab hold, you know, to take a little snare somewhere on the fish's mouth. It's a mono rig, as you can tell. Not particularly supple, not particularly subtle either, but it means that you can cast out a long way, and the mechanics of it with a balanced bait in particular means it works beautifully on all sorts of lake beds. I prefer using it with a helicopter because then I can just bodge the bead, the stop up a little bit and allow for it going in the lead plummeting down into silt. But simple as it is, people look at it, guys in my team have looked at it and gone, how can that work? Well, it works because it's so simple. It works because nothing can go wrong. It's almost like a hinge stiff rig. It resets itself. So enough of me gabbling on. Let me quickly tie one up for you. You can either use an incisor or a chod hook. Either pattern works really well. Just lately I've been using the chod hooks, but all summer long I've been on the incisors, the size 6 with a slow sinking 18 miller. Just about as perfect as you can get in terms of presentation for wanging baits out, sometimes at quite long range, and that's where the anti-tangle side of it comes in quite nicely. So this time, this is what I've been using all year, 20-pound trip wire. No, it's not trip wire, 20-pound trick link, he says. Starts off with the simplest of simple knots, just a quick knotless knot, about 7 turns is about right on this hook. It's got kind of a long shank, and I think that's almost what makes it work so well with the clone, is that it's sitting the hook point that little bit further away from the D. So it's about 7 turns on a knotless. Make sure as always, and I'm sure everybody out there, all the experienced anglers will sigh when I say it, but to those guys that aren't so experienced, make sure that hook link material is coming through the eye towards the hook point. That's critical in terms of the basic hooking mechanics of this sort of style of rig, and most rigs as well. So you've just got literally a knotless knot, bit of nylon, tag coming out the end. On the tag, just put a large or an extra large covert rig ring. This, again, I don't like to go too small on that, because otherwise it starts inhibiting the movement, the range of movement of the rig. Past the end of the tag end from the knotless knot, which has now got the rig ring on it, back through the hook eye, and see that's where we're going to form our D. And to keep it locked in position, I just trim it off a couple of millimeters away from the eye, and by using a lighter very carefully, not to burn any of the other hook link material, just melt it down and flatten off the end. And there you go, got a lovely D formed on the back of that hook. Pretty much there. It's pretty much as simple as that. All we have to do after that is work out how we're going to attach it to our hook, to our lead arrangement. Where you'd have seen on the helicopter rig sequence that we shot earlier, I tend to use size 12 quick locks. So pretty much all of my rigs, if they're a copolymer type nylon like this, monofilament, I just use a bob standard figure of 8 loop knot. It's a nice strong knot with that kind of material. I wouldn't recommend it so much for fluorocarbon, simply because fluorocarbon's a bit more, how can you put it? You have to be a bit more specialised with your knots. Then I'd say that you use the non-slip loop knot that we've shown in another video with fluorocarbon. It's almost like a hybridised loop knot with a blood knot. Funny one to explain, but if you have a look at the video, you see what I mean. Make sure that it's nicely bedded down, and short of being steamed and a nice slow sinking hook bait attached to it, that is it. That's as simple as it comes. You see the nice angle that it kicks the hook out on with the incisor, in particular because of the straight eye. It's a very aggressive hooking mechanism. Doesn't tangle. What's there to tangle? And when it sits on the bottom, the hook bait just sits over the top of it. That's really it. That's simple. It's a lovely little rig.